Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Thank you. Mrs. James, are you able to do roll call?
Sure can. Mr. Brecker.
Here.
Present. Mr. Brett.
6023.
Absent.
Yeah.
Mr. Gonzalo. Absent. Mrs. James is present virtually. Mrs. Latour.
Present.
Mrs. Latour is also present virtually. Mr. Mazzatesta. Absent.
Mr. Mazzatesta is on. Hey, I'm just not
Here.
sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good, Mr. Mazzatesta.
Okay. So he's virtual as well?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Muldowney.
Here.
Mr. Zach.
Here.
Mr. Zanella.
Absent.
Absent.
Thank you, Mrs. James. Next on the agenda is announcements. Do we have any announcements before Mr. Cheddar does a PowerPoint? None being heard. Mr. Cheddar, if you'd like to do your PowerPoint.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brecker. I just wanted to give the community a quick update in the first month of school. I want to thank our teaching staff, our administration, our nurses, our office staff, our students and parents and guardians. Everyone has done an excellent job the first month of school. Again, thank you from all of us, especially our administration and school board, for our learning community and all their efforts in the first month of school. I'd also like to commend our students who have done an excellent job with the mask mandate that we instituted, obviously with the state of Pennsylvania following as well. Our students have done a great job, so thank you to our students. One message to our parents and guardians: please continue those daily morning screenings. Again, that is our #1 preventative measure to stave off COVID from coming into our building. So please continue that. Remember, our daily morning screening tool is found on our website. And just a reminder, as always, our real-time tracker is found on our main website, and that will be updated daily. We will continue to communicate almost immediately with any student or staff member that we believe may be considered a close contact of a positive within our buildings. A reminder to our school community about our back to school COVID guide. A lot of this is pretty confusing, at least to me, who doesn't have a lot of medical background. In fact, I have no medical background, but what we tried to put in this document that is found on our main website, excuse me, just let me go back there a little bit, is a way for our community to really look at our COVID positive numbers. When you have questions about quarantine, when you have questions about when you should quarantine, when you should not quarantine, when you come off quarantine. Again, a lot of information is found on that back to school COVID guide. So please check that out at your leisure. A reminder that October 1st is our deadline for our latest tornado brick alley order. Thank you to all those who purchased bricks in our latest order this past May. And again, if you order a brick by October 1st, we will get that brick in Tornado Alley by our playoff season here in about 5 or 6 weeks. And finally, I'd just like to thank International Paper. There was a $5,000 grant that was awarded to our school district for our buddy bag program. I'd like to especially thank Mrs. Lisa Vrano, who was very influential in writing the grant and securing that grant. And again, thank you to International Paper. That $5,000 is going to go a long way to make sure we are able to continue that buddy bag program here for the rest of the school year. So again, thank you to all the folks at International Paper. That is all I have at this time, Mr. Brecker.
Thank you, Mr. Cheddar. Next, a motion is needed to approve the minutes of the August 19th, 2021 regular board meeting and the August 30th, 2021 special board meeting.
Motion Muldowney.
Second, Latour.
Thank you. That's a voice vote. Mrs. James, please.
All in favor? Oh, I just have just a question to make sure that it's noted in there, the people that attend virtually. Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-3.
Is there any PTA representative reports this evening? None being heard, we'll move on to the next item. Are there any guests desiring to speak to the listed agenda items? If so, please state your name and address.
There are no comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Administrative reports, Mr. Cheddar, have anything further?
None at this time, Mr. Brecker. We'll go right into our building level reports.
Okay, principal reports, senior high school.
I believe Mrs. Edmondson is giving a report tonight. Mrs. Edmondson, are you on?
Yes, I have the junior high report, actually.
Thank you.
Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, so from Mr. Dara, the junior high report, he said that they conducted the Meet the Teachers Night and attendance was good at this event. CDT tickets were distributed, so the goal is to conduct them by the end of September and review the results in October. Students were provided study island and criterion. We'll be planning PSSA prep activities in the afternoon homerooms. And thank you to our guidance counselors, Erica Nestico and Ann Darrett, for all their hard work.
Thank you for that report on behalf of the junior high school. Elementary school.
Hi, good evening. Thanks, Mr. Brecker. Just a few things from the elementary school so that parents are aware. Progress reports will be posted on Friday, September 24th, and we will be printing them this year, and they will be sent home on Tuesday, September 28th. We just want to make the community and parents aware we will be conducting safety drills in the upcoming weeks. September 28th, we will be doing, September 24th, we will be doing an evacuation drill next Friday to the stadium. As Mrs. Edmondson mentioned about CDTs, we are also in the process of administering iReady diagnostic assessments and the classroom diagnostic tests. CDTs are administered across grades 3 through 6, and the iReady assessments are administered across K through 6. They're especially incredibly important this year because of just the state of education and a combination of virtual and non-virtual students from the prior year. School pictures will be held on November 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. We will also be holding 2 sessions this year of our FAST program that we began last year, which is the Family and Schools Together program. We are currently accepting applications from families for this program, and the first session will begin on October 4th. It will be in person this year, which we're very excited about. And finally, just to reiterate what Mr. Cheddar said, we really want to recognize all of our staff for their hard work for the start of the school year. We're off to a great start despite the challenges that we face. And also a huge thank you to the custodial staff, Mr. Fagley, Mr. Tresker, Mrs. Bartle, Ms. Bardis, Mrs. Meredith, with the school preparation, especially through all of the construction. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nestico. And Mrs. Edmondson, back to you for a special education report.
Sure, thank you. Good evening. So one thing I wanted to mention is that this year with the middle school, we're participating in a program through Patton, which is the Pennsylvania Training and Technical Assistance Network. And it's called Middle School Success Path to Graduation. So this is supporting middle school students with emotional behavioral disorders. And through this program, we'll be identifying students that are at risk for dropping out of school. And part of the program is using what they call the ABCs. So looking at attendance, behavior, and course performance. So we have identified a team, and we'll have our first startup meeting at the end of this month. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Maintenance report, Mr. Fagley.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Brecker. Phase 1 of the renovation project is winding down. There's a little bit of work left to do on the roofs to be completed. Once they're done, the manufacturer rep will be on site within the next few weeks to inspect and certify the installation of both roofs. The HVAC control work is ongoing and should be completed within the next few weeks. Air and water balancing of the system will begin soon after, and then we'll be receiving training on the new system and equipment. The new dust collector for the industrial arts room should be arriving next week. A date for the installation will be determined once it is on site. The contractors are currently working on punch list items, so we are planning on an October 8th completion date. And lastly, one of our longtime custodians, John Molnar, will be retiring next week, so we wish John well in his retirement. John will surely be missed, as he's a valued employee who rarely took a day off and could always be counted on to step up when others were off or when additional duties popped up. We've been advertising for this position, but have not received any applicants as of today. It's a full-time custodial position with benefits, so if you're interested or know of anyone who may be, please have them contact the district office. And thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Fegley. Our well-represented athletic department.
Good and bad looking. Just a couple things. Tomorrow, home football game, some big events along with the football game. Has been advertised by our, who's out very well. The band will be having their second annual reunion tomorrow. A lot of alumni coming back will be marching starting at 5:45, right down 3rd Street, and they'll be performing prior to the game. So we hope to see a lot of them out there, a lot of people down to hear them play. So should be a great time. Also tomorrow, we're proud to have a alumni coming back to visit us in flag raising ceremonies. Somebody that has donated to our foundation and has been a friend to us for a long time. Somebody graduated in 1966, 3-sport athlete here, and his family is well known throughout our region, and we welcome him back. And his family lives in Montoursville. His grandson will be playing tomorrow in the football game, and that's Blaise Alexander, who will be raising the flag tomorrow night. And, you know, I was up in Bob Chicatano's class today, and I mentioned, you know, does anybody know who Blaise Alexander is? And some of the kids said, well, that's the car dealer. I said, yeah, that's right. But you know that he started on Route 61 in Atlas. His dad was Aubrey Alexander. And, you know, a lot of things come back to our area and started here. You know, we should be remember that. You know, Blaise is a Red Tornado at heart. We look forward to having him back here tomorrow. Also, homecoming activities are going to be start picking up here. That's the October 1st game. Not only will we be having our classes with banners and a homecoming parade, and look forward to getting some people back for that, but also that'll be really the highlight of our 90th anniversary of the Silver Bowl. We're hoping to get some of the families back of people that actually were involved with making the Silver Bowl and gathering the architecture together in 1932 to put the Silver Bowl together. So hopefully we can get their families back and honor them and flag raising ceremonies and recognize them. So it should be a fun night that night. So look forward to a lot of things going on in the next few weeks.
Thank you, guys. Next on the agenda is athletic items, and a motion is needed to approve athletic items 1 through 7 as listed.
Motion, Zach.
Second, Muldowney.
Roll call, please, Mrs. James.
Sure. Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Britt is absent. Mr. Gonzalez absent. Mrs. James votes yes. Mrs. Latour,
Yes.
Mr. Mazzatesta,
Yes.
Mr. Muldowney,
Yes.
Mr. Zach,
Yes.
and Mr. Zanella is absent.
Next, financial items. A motion is needed to approve financial items 1 through 4 as listed.
Motion Latour.
Second, Zach.
Okay, Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Britt is absent. Mr. Gonzalez absent. Mrs. James votes yes. Mrs. Latour,
Yes.
Mr. Mazzatesta,
Yes.
Mr. Muldowney,
Yes.
Mr. Zach,
Yes.
and Mr. Zanella is absent. Motion passes 6-3.
And committee reports, Mount Carmel Area Education Foundation. Anybody speaking on behalf of them tonight?
Mr. Brecker, the foundation will be meeting next month, just so everyone's aware. So we will meet after the board meeting in October.
Thank you. New business. A motion is needed to approve new business item 1 as listed.
Motion Muldowney,
Second Latour.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Britt is absent. Mr. Gonzalez is absent. Mrs. James votes yes. Mrs. Latour,
Yes.
Mr. Mazzatesta,
Yes.
Mr. Muldowney,
yes.
Mr. Zach,
Yes.
Mr. Zanella is absent, and Mr. Brecker.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-3.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is personnel items. A motion is needed to approve personnel items 1 through 9 as listed.
Motion Latour.
Second thought.
Roll call, please, Mrs. James.
Okay, Mr. Mazzatesta,
Yes.
Mr. Muldowney,
Yes.
Mr. Zach,
Yes.
Mr. Zanella is absent. Mr. Brecker,
Yes.
Mr. Britt is absent. Mr. Gonzalo is absent. Mrs. James votes yes. Mrs. Latour,
Yes.
motion passes 6-3.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comments and questions. Do we have any at this point?
No comments at this time.
Thank you, Gary. And next is, can we entertain a motion for adjournment?
Motion Muldowney,
Second Latour.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Next meeting is October 21st, 2021.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night.